In this video, I'm going to give you some of my best marketing strategies to help your business get more attention. This is going to be incredibly valuable to you because even if you have the best product or the best service or the best business in the world, it just doesn't matter if you can't get someone to care enough to first pay attention. So let's get your business some more attention now. Hey guys, Adam here. It's been a crazy year, hey? So much, madness going on, it's hard to even know what's what anymore. You got people over here screaming at you, and you got people over there screaming at them, and you got people way over there, and some over there too, hiding inside with the covers over their head, just waiting for this all to be over. But as confusing and as messed up as things may appear to be, one thing has become more clear and more glaringly obvious than it ever has been before. And that is, nothing happens without attention. And everyone and their dog is fighting for your customers' attention right now. Which means that everyone and their dog is your competitor right now. And the only way to win is to stand up, stand out, get noticed, and get attention. So let's help you do that now. First, the fundamentals, and then the sexy tactics, tricks, or hacks, or whatever you want to call them. Basically, just like your mother always told you, eat your vegetables first, then you get dessert. So let's start with some veggies. The first thing that you need to do in order to get attention is to understand one of the most important fundamentals and principles when it comes to marketing strategy, and that is specialization. The reality is that in today's hyper-competitive and really saturated world, especially when it comes to business and marketing, well, you can't be all things to all people. You have to specialize. You have to focus. This means really focusing in and really specializing on either a certain area or a certain product or a certain service or even a certain market or segment of the market, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Being a jack of all trades or a generalist is just not the way to succeed because there's too much noise in the marketplace and there's no real kind of value or no real reason for somebody to want to go to you or to be able to recommend you or to even have the desire or the understanding that you're going to be able to help them when you're claiming to do all of these things for all these different people. Plus, when you're a generalist or you're keeping your offer, your marketing, or your message really broad, well, it naturally forces you to kind of broaden that message, which means you have to water it down. You have to be less specific so that you can include all of these different people. The reality is when you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to no one. All right, so the next marketing fundamental that we've got to talk about is differentiation. See, differentiation is pretty much exactly what it sounds like, but it's how are you different? And different in a way that's actually better and in a way that actually matters to your market, but how are you different than your competition or different than others who are offering a similar or even somewhat kind of different thing than what you're offering? Oh, that sounds a bit confusing. Let me explain. Basically, as I mentioned at the very beginning, everybody is vying for your customers' attention right now, which means that you've got a number of different competitors you've got to try to compete against. You of course have your direct competitors who are selling something similar to you or exactly the same as you to the same kind of market that you want to reach. But you also have indirect competitors, which are people who are selling either something different to the same market or something similar to a different market. So these are areas that you're going to have to find and do a little bit of digging and a little bit of research into to figure out what you can do to stand out and really differentiate yourself from everybody else who's kind of competing for that same attention. So let me ask you, what is your competitive advantage? How are you different? How are you better? And how are you better in a way that actually matters to your customers? Also, this is an opportunity for you to stand for something, to allow your personality and your authenticity to really come through. What are your brand values? What are your sort of characteristics? What does your brand or your business stand for? What are some of the attributes that somebody would be able to relate to you on and to your business on a more personal level? All right, so now that we've talked about specialization, we've talked about differentiation, it's time to talk about another incredibly important marketing principle that will help you get more attention, which is segmentation. The reason segmentation is such a powerful marketing principle is because by kind of narrowing the focus on who it is that you're going to concentrate on and who it is that you're going to focus your marketing and your business on, well, it allows you to not have to try to reach everybody, but rather just to try to reach a few select people. And it's a whole lot easier to get the attention of 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people or even 10,000 people than it is to try to get the attention of millions and millions, if not billions of people, which would be crazy and prohibitively expensive. So when it comes to segmentation, what you want to do is you want to take a look at all of the different segments of your target market that you could serve. Then you want to really dial in and really drill down into who it is that would get the most value from your business, from your brand, from your product, from your service, and focus there. This is the reason that I love using the 80-20 principle or Pareto's principle, essentially the fact that 80% of your revenues are likely going to come from just 20% of your customers or from your clients. When you apply this principle to your business, well, it starts to become really obvious where you're going to want to focus on, which is clearly the 20% of people that are going to give you 80% of your business's revenue and profit. If you'll allow me to get just a little more nerdy here for a second, I also want to talk really quickly about another rule called the 120/20 rule, which was first introduced to me by Perry Marshall, which basically states that actually the top 20% of your customers will give you 120% of your revenue because the bottom 20% of your customers are going to end up losing you money. Again, that's some pretty advanced level stuff, but the point of the matter remains the same, which is you really want to focus on that top 20% of your customers, of your clients, and of those ideal people who love you, love what you do, are happy to pay you for the true value you provide, and also want to tell everyone they know about just how great you really are. All right, time for our final marketing principle before we get to a few tricks and a few hacks, and that is the marketing principle known as concentration. Essentially, what concentration says is that once you've applied your segmentation and you've sort of divided and really categorized your different segments of customers, you've done your 80-20 analysis and you've determined your top 20% of customers, well, concentration then states that you want to concentrate, you want to focus specifically on those people and ignore everything else. Now, the level of which you want to ignore everyone else, obviously I'm not suggesting you just never talk to anybody else again. However, you do want to start focusing and tailoring your message and your service delivery towards that upper echelon of clients, that top tier, top 20%. Really focus, really double down, really concentrate, and really just focus all your efforts, your time, your money, your energy, your resources on serving them to the best of their ability so you can get more of them and you can keep them longer, which in turn will also help increase your revenue and your profits. All right, so all of those things are going to help your business stand out amongst the competition, to get more attention, to be heard above the crowd. But what are some tactics and some tricks and some hacks that you can use right now to take all of those principles and start getting even faster results? Well, my friend, let's dive into the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how of putting this all together. Starting with the who. The who is all about your ideal target market or ideal customer avatar, or ICA. Essentially, all the same words, all kind of synonyms for the same thing, which is who is the person, who is the market, who is the segment that you're trying to serve. Your goal here is to try to understand them better than they even know themselves. Get into their heads, get into their thoughts, get into their feelings, and try to figure out what is motivating them, what is incentivizing them, why are they doing the things they do, why are they buying the things they buy. This is why it's incredibly important to talk to your customers. And if you don't have customers yet, it's important to talk to your prospective customers so you can start to understand what is it that drives them, who are they, what makes up their gender, their age, their income, their occupation, where they live, what are their values, their attitudes, their lifestyles, everything. This is such an incredibly important thing to do because when you do this, you're going to be able to be a little more polarizing with your content because you're going to be able to speak directly to the wants and the needs and the dreams and the desires of a specific market at the exclusion of everyone else. And that's great because it's going to mean those that love you are going to love you more. And those that hate you or weren't going to like you anyway, well, that's cool. They're not for you anyway. All right, now let's talk about the what. And the what is essentially the offer and the message and the content and the context behind what it is that you sell and how you speak to them. This is where I like to use the example of what I call miracles and miseries. Their miracles are their wants and their dreams and their desires and everything that they're trying to get. And their miseries are their fears and their frustrations and their pains and their problems and everything they're trying to move away from. Your business serves as the bridge that helps them cross the gap from misery towards miracle, from their current pain to their desired end state. And the better you understand what their pains are and what they actually want to get, well, the better you're going to be able to create messaging and content and marketing that really resonates and really strikes a chord with them. All right, now let's get super tactical with the where. And the where is all about where are you going to market your business? How are you going to stand out? How are you going going to find your people, stand up, and get their attention. And when it comes to marketing choices available, there is no shortage of different options to choose from. That said, if you're totally lost and you don't know where to go, you really can't go wrong with Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Facebook has over 2 billion monthly active users, Instagram has over 1 billion, YouTube has over 2 billion. I mean, we're talking about a whole lot of people. So if you don't know where to market your business, you really can't go wrong by choosing either Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or some combination of those three. Now, to get even more tactical, when it comes to these three different platforms, there is one content choice that reigns supreme, and that is video content. This is obvious for something like YouTube, but even for Facebook and Instagram, video is still the preferred media choice, both by the algorithms themselves, by Facebook, by Instagram, but also by your customers. Long story short, your customers want more video content, and they want it from you. So give the people what they want. All right, this next one's really easy, and it's all about the when. And the when is now. As the ancient Chinese proverb says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So if you're not already investing in a marketing strategy on these platforms to grow your business, to try to get attention, well, today's the day, my friend. The why is also easy, and the why that you're doing this is, like we talked about at the beginning, to get attention, to grow your business, to generate more leads, to generate more sales, to increase your revenue, essentially to set yourself up for success. And the how? Well, that's what this video was about, but it's also what this next video is about. So make sure to check it out now, and I'll see you in the next episode. Marketing is a major business function that's made up of a bunch of other parts, one of which, of course, is advertising. But there's also a ton others like PR, market research,